Today, we are diving into 5 super powerful, science-backed micro-habits, and these are all designed to close that gap between what you believe and what you actually do. The goal here, to make success feel less like a grind and a whole lot more like you. You know, this quote really gets to the heart of it all. It's such a simple but profound idea, right? That fulfillment isn't something you chase down out there somewhere. It's something you express right here in your daily actions. And that feeling, that's what we're building towards. I think we all have at some point. It's that, that subtle feeling that you're busy, you're getting things done, but something just feels a little off. You might be chasing all these goals, but you're slowly losing touch with what actually matters to you. It's a super common feeling, especially when life just gets crazy. So let's give that feeling a name. We're going to call it that quiet friction. This is our first section. See, it's not some loud, dramatic crisis. It's more of a persistent, humming tension between who you are on the inside and what your life looks like on the outside. Okay, and here is what is absolutely crucial to understand. That friction you're feeling, it is not a sign that you failed. Not at all. It's feedback. It's your internal compass just trying to tell you, hey, we're a little off course here. It's an invitation to correct your path. So think of it as a signal, never a judgment. So the big question is, how do you actually course correct? Well, that brings us to our second section, 5 science-backed habits. And look, these are not massive, scary life overhauls. Nope, they are small, totally actionable adjustments you can start making, like right now, to close that gap. First up, we've got the alignment audit. Just think of this as your simple weekly check-in with yourself. Seriously, it takes maybe 10 minutes, but it can completely reorient your entire week before it even gets started. And here's how ridiculously simple it is. Every Sunday, just grab a notebook and jot down your top 3 core values. Then, just be honest with yourself and rate how well your actions last week lined up with those values. Give it a score from 1 to 10. The pattern that shows up isn't about making you feel guilty, not at all. It's just pure data that shows you exactly where you're starting to drift. And the psychology behind this is so cool. It's a thing called self-concordance theory, and basically it shows that when our goals line up with our own deep values, not goals that society or our parents gave us, we just feel better and we're way more likely to succeed. This little audit is just a tool to help you build that alignment. Okay, let's move on to our second habit, and this one is all about the power of getting specific. It's about turning a kind of fuzzy value into a concrete plan, so your brain knows exactly what to do when the time comes. So for example, saying, I value courage is great, but it's not a plan, is it? But saying, when I face pushback in meetings, I will speak my truth. Now that is a plan. You're giving your brain a specific trigger, the pushback, and an automatic response, speaking up. This kind of pre-planning makes it so much easier to act on your values in the moment. And yes, this is backed by some really solid science. Research on what are called implementation intentions shows that creating these simple little if-then plans dramatically boosts the chances you'll actually follow through. You're pretty much programming your future self to do the right thing. Alright, our third habit is all about reflection. It's about consciously training your brain to recognize and then seek out that feeling of alignment. We're going to do that by creating a really powerful feedback loop. And the process is so straightforward. After you make a big decision, just take 2 minutes to write down the answer to a simple question. Did this honor my values? That's it. When you do this over and over, you literally teach your brain what that feeling of alignment is. And over time, your brain starts to subconsciously look for that feeling all on its own. And this habit is inspired by really proven techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, and professional reflective practice. The whole idea is that by consciously reviewing our choices, we actually reinforce the neural pathways in our brain that we want to make stronger. Okay, habit 4 is a game changer because it's not about adding something new, it's about strategic subtraction. It's all about creating space by getting really good at saying no to the things that pull you away from who you want to be. So the key is to pinpoint one thing in your life right now that just drains your energy without really serving your values. It could be a committee, a recurring meeting, maybe even a social thing you dread. And your mission is simple. This week, just say no to it. That empty space you create, that's the fertile ground where more aligned actions can finally start to grow. What this is, at its core, is the principle of values-based prioritization. It's just recognizing that your time and your energy are your most precious, finite resources. So this habit is about being intentional and allocating those resources only to the things that truly line up with what you've decided is most important. And finally, our fifth habit is all about reinforcement. This is about catching yourself doing something right, even if it's tiny, and celebrating it to make that behavior stick. So here's how it works. When you notice one of those small moments where your action perfectly matched a value, like maybe you chose to be really honest when it was tough, the next step is to tell someone about it, a friend, your partner, whoever. Sharing that win and having it recognized actually helps solidify the behavior. It rewires your brain to want to do it again. What you're doing here is basically using one of the most powerful tools from behavioral psychology, positive reinforcement. By celebrating these little micro-alignments, you're actively rewarding the behavior, which makes it way more likely to become just a default part of who you are. Okay, so for our final section, let's zoom out and see how this all comes together. We've looked at 5 different habits, but they're all serving a single really powerful idea about what purpose actually is. And honestly, this is the ultimate takeaway. You don't need to find some grand, new, complicated life strategy. The most profound, lasting changes come from just adopting small, consistent, aligned habits that build on each other over time. So let's end with this powerful thought. We so often think of purpose as this thing we have to go out and find, right? Like it's some hidden treasure. But this whole framework suggests something totally different. Purpose isn't found, it's built. Brick by brick, with every single small action that reflects your deepest values. So as we finish up, I'll just leave you with this question to think about. When you look back at these 5 habits, the audit, the intentions, the feedback loop, the elimination, and the celebration, which one of those feels like the tool you need most in your life right now? Because that's your starting point.